I always find that one of the things. Just recently, I recoloured Frank's Flex Mentallo, and there was a lot of some people didn't like the colour, and there was a lot of well, quite a bit of online like you must have been told to do it rubbish by the editorial team, and I was like, you don't need an editorial team these days. I think the best things come out when like you just said I talked to him. There was no editor on it at all, and if Grant and Frank hadn't wanted what was being done, and I'm sure it's the same with you and Mark when you're drawing, you know, when you've been doing Daredevil, you're directly in contact with Mark, and the editor's almost an irrelevancy, I would have thought.
Well, don't say that too loudly.
No.
Somewhere.
Was that Steve? Oh, it's all right. He'll let me off. But do you think that's actually true?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you know, I did six issues of Daredevil with Mark, and we had never worked with each other previously. And by the time we got to the later issues, he was fine with writing less and letting me do more, just because, you know, we had worked up a relationship, and we were confident with each other, and we always would go back and forth with sketches and, you know, the whole process. We let our editors see what we were doing, you know, just to be nice. But, no, I mean,
well, actually, Steve is a very comprehensive editor.
Yeah, I mean, I've really only worked, well, when I started at Marvel, I was in Tom Brevoort's office, and then Steve Wacker inherited me from
me
Tom.
too.
Yeah. So, and you know, and I really haven't worked for anybody else except for like the odd cover here and there.
Right. But Steve's all right as an editor.
Steve's great. Yeah. I mean, what I like about Steve is he has, I don't know, a non-traditional taste for Marvel.
Yeah.
So he'll hire, you know, artists and writers who will, you know, breathe some fresh air into, you know, older characters, and a new take that most people wouldn't think of, but actually works, you know, fairly well. You know, I mean, he's the one that put us all together. I mean, I'd never worked with Mark Waid before. He had worked with Marcos Martin. He brought on Javier Rodriguez. So it was, and he let my dad ink me. So that was,
Did you suggest it?
yeah, I suggested. First we were going to do like a test issue of Spider-Man where it would be under my name, but he would actually do it.
Sort of sneak it through. And,
well, I mean, he knew we were going to do it, but it was still going to be essentially under my name, and we didn't have time for that, so we just went straight into Daredevil. So the first issue of Daredevil is the first issue that my dad had inked. So yeah, and I was, you know, Steve had no problem with it.
That's good. Have you had the same experience with Steve? He's been supportive of what you've done, and
yeah. Well, Steve was one of the most supportive person to me on Marvel. I started also with Tom Brevoort in Strange, and I worked with Tom Brevoort again in the Strange season 1. But the rest of the works were in the Spidey office, and I worked mostly with Steve, also Alejandro Arbona, who is not longer there, and Eddie Pyle, and you know, everybody was really nice. And I really, you know, because there are a lot of people who think that, you know, the people working there doesn't give a damn about comics, you know, so I'm telling that, you know, these guys really try hard to find a way to introduce new styles. You know, I never thought with the style with my style, I never thought I was going to end up working on Marvel, honestly. And you know, okay, I can do action and it's very dynamic, and maybe that's one of the reasons, and also the storytelling. But you know, I'm not as good as, you know, somebody who's doing Avengers like Stuart Immonen or things like that, because you know they have a lot of information. It's different, no?
Yeah, it's different. I don't think it's. I don't think it's anything to do with quality.
No. I
with
didn't.
style,
Yeah. Okay. Yes, this is the style. It's not as much as quality, but yeah. But what I mean is, they are always trying to look for new things. You know, because those companies have to find something new all the time, because you know there are so many books and so many people working there, and they need to try to find things.
Actually, I think that's one thing Marvel's done,
Yeah.
and this is only my opinion, obviously.
Yeah.
But that one of the things I think's been really backwards about that DC 52 stuff.
Yeah.
It looks so
Yeah.
old-fashioned.
Well, we were talking about that yesterday. I mean, like, it was like, you okay? I'm sorry. No, I mean, I think, you know, this is a huge market. There have to be a space for everybody, you know. You have to need, you know, everybody consumes a lot of comics, and you need to offer them different products to choose. But I don't think that mainstream has to be against, you know, the independent stuff. And, you know, like, everything can live together. And, you know, in Marvel, yeah, there are a lot of stuff that even looks independent at all.
Oh, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
you know, and I understand that those books doesn't sell really well normally, but, you know, things like Hawkeye right now is one of the best books in the
Yeah,
market, and
exactly.
they are selling a lot. And David Asa, who's a friend, really nice friend, you know, he's giving his all, you know,
Yeah,
he's putting all his
fantastic.
life
Yeah.
on the book, and Matt is doing a splendid job too with the script. And, you know, I think you can notice when somebody is really enjoying the work, and,
Yes.
you know, okay.